Hey, what's going on? I'm Ryan Coogler, co-writer and director of Marvel Studios' Black Panther, and this is Notes on the Scene. So this scene takes place in the second act of the film. T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, Nakia, played by Lupita Nyongo, and Okoye, played by Danai Gurira, are on a covert mission to extract Wakanda's #1 enemy, Ulysses Claw.
It's now or never.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
The mission's kind of spearheaded by Lupita Nyongo here in this magnificent green dress that our costume designer 3D printed, actually. A lot of African symbolism here, like Wakandan text, is drawn in lines and boxes as opposed to round shapes. At the same time, you know, Lupita looks fierce and like a warrior. Different hairstyle than you see her in too. We had a big emphasis on Wakandans having natural hair, and it's a lot of motifs about femininity, especially black femininity here in this scene.
It's now or never.
Yes, sir.
You know, we cut to Okoye and we see her in this red dress. We accented it with gold to bring out a little bit of the Wakandan. And the gold is kind of a ranking system. But the more important thing here is that she's wearing this wig. For the Dora, a big thing for them is symbolism of their bald head. When they become Dora Milaje, they shave their head. It's something that's present in the comics and something we really ran with in this film. So for her, it's a dishonor for her to ever cover her bald head. But because she's on this mission, you know, she's got to kind of look like she's fitting into the Western world. She has to hide in plain sight. You know, with this elaborate, pretty good looking wig here, you'll see, you know, nobody else in this sequence is wearing the color red. Nobody else in the sequence is wearing the color green. Folks who are familiar with the concept of Pan-Africanism, the Pan-African flag is red, black, and green. So when you see T'Challa and Nakia and Okoye in their covert looks, you know, you see the colors of the Pan-African flag.
It's now or never.
Yes, sir.
Nakia's trying to go to interfere with the transaction that's happening, and she's yelling at her to stand down, but she makes the mistake of yelling at her in Xhosa. This represents the clique right there. Xhosa. She yells "Yela," which is Wakandan or Xhosa for stand down. These South African goons that came with claw, they actually hear that.
Hey.
So when she gets discovered, you know, she's happy to just let the Wakandan out.
Hey.
Somebody touches Okoye. That's the first thing that somebody does. And an idea of how Wakandans react to being touched unwarranted. This idea of not being in control of your own body and you know, having to be touched by people who you don't feel like being touched by. You know, and it also comes with being a woman as well.
Hey.
You know, down here, T'Challa is somewhere about right there, and Nakia is somewhere down here on this first floor. In many ways, Danai is kind of isolated. Okoye is isolated up here on this second floor. We want to turn that on his head because she's, you know, a really powerful warrior, and this is when you kind of get to see her shine. Big theme in this is tradition versus innovation. So we broke the characters down. Okoye is a traditionalist, so she fights with a traditional weapon, the African spear, always made out of vibranium, and she fights in a very traditional style. It almost looks like dancing when she fights. You know, this is a moment that's been in the script since the first draft. This idea of Okoye, the traditionalist Wakandan, just being tired of this wig. You know, she makes comments to Nakia that she doesn't want to have it on in the first place. So as soon as the fight jumps off, you know, she finds a way to take it off. You know, so she ends up throwing it on this guy's face, and we see how he reacts to that. For impact, we wanted to cut to another shot of T'Challa showing that he still wasn't aware that the fight had gotten that bad upstairs. It wasn't a real person that was coming down in this. This was actually a digi-double. And we put a few CG chips in there too to make the fall feel a little more violent. You know, again, you'll see the color story here with Chad in black, the Black Panther. Another bit of color story in the film. This is one of our villains here, and this is Ulysses Claw, the color blue. The color blue represented colonization. So now the fight's on, and Claw's shooting at Ross. You know, T'Challa kicks over this thing here to protect him. This shot is all about setting up the different ways that everybody's gonna be fighting here. And we have to set up that Chadwick, you know, playing T'Challa is a super soldier, you know. So this dude that he kicks is rigged up to a wire, snatching him back, just to accentuate the fact that Chad here is not your average bear. He's a super soldier. Now, Ross is shooting with a gun, and T'Challa is engaged with several different people. And now here we get into the fun part, right? Now Nakia has joined the fray. We got Claw still here, talking to his goons. He's trying to get to that case of diamonds. You know, Ross is somewhere over here shooting, you know, and now Nakia is in the mix. And Nakia fights completely different from how Okoye fights. We really wanted to differentiate that. So we talked about, again, tradition versus innovation. Lupita's character, Nakia, is an innovator. What we wanted to do is give her a very innovative fighting style. You know, she'll use any weapon, anything that she can get her hands on. She fights dirty. She fights aggressive. She's a spy who had to learn how to make do with what she has. In this film, you'll never see Okoye pick a gun up. She slams this guy's head into this craps table, which is real fun for us to do. Did a few takes of that. So we're just gonna pause on our heel right here. Once again, femininity used. I'm just writing now, and it's not even legible, as a weapon, right? So just really turn the idea of femininity on his head. You know, a lot of times you see Wakanda's walking around barefoot. It's a barefoot culture. Sometimes it's barefoot, sometimes it's sandals. First thing she does after she slams this goon's head into this here table is she's gonna use another weapon that she has. She's gonna use that high heel. She's gonna take that off, and she's gonna drag that right across another bad guy's face. Boom! And now this guy right here, this is another part of the choreography that we wanted everything to feel continuous. We wanted every character to have their own time. And that's when we start getting to our long takes. So this is kind of Lupita's take it'll get broken up by some punctuating cuts here. Everything is fluid, but it's fluid in our own way. It's aggressive. Like, look at this right here. You got the contrast of beauty and aggression. You know what I'm saying? And the film's all about contrast here. You got one of the most beautiful people in the world making a face like, man, she's about to get it going. You know what I mean? She's ready. Can't teach that. So now, she's gonna break this dude's shoulder here. And she's gonna take his weapon from him. Now this is right here is a very, very difficult shot to achieve. Technically, it took us a lot of takes. So if you start here, the first frame, it's gonna go from over the shoulder on Lupita. And what we had to do here is we had to float a movie up on a cable rig. Imagine the camera here and a big cable rig. Okay, that we're sending it up. There's no green screen here, no, you know, this is all happening live and direct. You know, we're down here on the first floor. This is really Lupita right here taking aim with a blank. This is a CG explosion here on this light to get the glass kind of flying. She shoots these guys who are trying to shoot her. And as you can see, this little bit of red right here, that's Danai Gurira doing her choreography. Also, another thing is music here. You know, our composer Ludwig Göransson did some beautiful music. And this is where you hear the Dora cue. It's a group of women in Senegal doing a yip, like a choo, 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 choo. And that kind of comes into play whenever you hear the Dora, you know, really get into their fight. And it's a big shift musically here as we get ready to send this camera up on this cable rig. Once it arrives up here, you know, we got a guy standing by who actually picks it up and takes it. So Danai is engaging these guys here. And this is really what we see in her shine. And that music is going. She takes this dude out here, catches him there. See a little bit of CG accentuation for that shocking mechanism there on the blade. There's no doubles here in this footage that we just showed. It's all Chad, all Lupita, you know, all Andy Serkis, all Martin, and all Miss Danai here. Wish I could tell you the spear is real. It wasn't, you know, it was a rubber spear. But this fall that this dude is gonna take off of this balcony here after he gets shocked by this spear, and that was a real fall. You know, that's really going from the second story down onto a pad here. Took a lot of bravery there. This scene we shot very early in our shooting schedule. You know, it was something that we kind of bookmarked and said, look, if we can get this right, you know, it'll set the tone for the rest of the film. And I had a to scale model, 3D printed, you know, of this whole set that sat on my desk the whole time I was in prep, and I had little small scale, almost like action figures that I was able to plan everybody out, you know, rework the script to really make sure that we were being descriptive on what levels all of our Wakandans were at, what levels the South African adversaries were at, you know, where Ross was. It was very, you know, really fun to work out. You know, a lot, you know, pretty stressful, you know, big, expensive set. But at the same time, when I'll be in my office, you know, it kind of took me back to being a kid, you know, playing with toys again. You know, so it was really fun.